Cycling Yogis discovered heritage by cycling. Cycling Yogis was founded on 24th of April 2012, a non-profit organization comprising people from various walks of life with common passion for cycling and respecting heritage. Objectives is to create awareness on heritage and promote cycling, organize heritage rides to commemorate important occasions. All our events are free of cost to the participants, fully supported by sponsors with refreshments, food, mechanical support and backup vehicles. Official support of Madras Week celebrations since 2012, part of Mylapore Festival since 2014, partnered ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, Chennai chapter during the Fort St. George cleanup for the World Heritage Week celebrations in November 2014. This whole concept of cleanup was an inspiration from CTC. So I would like to thank CTC. And now the ASI people have asked us to continue this as a program throughout in the coming future years. Our event calendar for the year starts with the Republic Day Heritage Ride, and then the World Heritage Day Ride in April, Madras Day Heritage Ride in August, and Heritage Site Cleanup. Landmarks covered include Mylapore, Triplicane, Mount Road, Georgetown, Rayapuram, Perambur, Pulikat, Thiruvanmiyur, Thiruvadandai, Mahabalipuram, and Puducherry. So this is our first ride. It was Mylapore, Triplicane and Chepan in 2012. 2013, Mahabalipuram and then Mount Road, Rayapuram and Marina, Thiruvalikeni Marina stretch. And 2014, it was Mylapore Festival, then Pulikat or Padaveru Garden, then Mahabalipuram Lighthouse, then Perambur and Thiruvadandai. Okay, so I've briefly said what Cycling Yogis is. Now I'll come to the presentation point. Today I plan to talk something about northern Chennai. So I want to follow the coast. I am ignoring certain parts because I would like to stay with the coast. I'll start from Pulikat, then Perambur is an exception to this, then go to Rayapuram, then something about Thiruvalikeni and Mylapore, and then go on to ECR. Mention something about Thiruvanmiyur, Kovalam, Thiruvadandai, Mahabalipuram and Puducherry. And I also felt that I should talk something about Buckingham Canal, because this water body is coming along with us ever since we do our ride from Pulikat till Puducherry. It's ending near Marakana. So it's almost following us. So I would like to briefly talk about Buckingham Canal. And if time permits, I would like to talk something about this history of bicycle in India. I've always been fascinated to know about we all take a cycle and just ride, but and we look into all fitness in regards with cycling. But I was really interested to know how cycle. So, and at the end, if there is time, I would also we have a video presentation. So if it's possible, it's just a 2-3 minute short film. So this is the plan. So I'll start from Pulikat. Northern Chennai, northern region is always something I'm fascinated because to some northern Chennai is always a foreign region. Being brought up in Chennai also, the northern part of Chennai is always a foreign region, and to some they feel that it's still underdeveloped and it's not in tune with times. But here is a vast treasure house of history about the founding of the city. So I would first go to Pulikat or Padaveru Garden. Pulikat was an important seaport, but unfortunately today a fishing village. It's got an extensive history. If today Madras, we are standing here and I'm just talking to you, it's because of Pulikat. And Pulikat was ruled by Chola kingdom up till 12th century, and then the Vijayanagara kingdom were there for around 3 centuries. And during the Vijayanagara period, it had a flourishing trade. It was a seaport which had a flourishing import and exports. And then we come on, when Vijayanagaram kingdom was taking Pulicat to the next level. Unfortunately, they had lost the Battle of Talikot and to the Deccan Sultans, and they could not focus more on Vijayanagar, rather on Pulicat. So it was time for them to say their focus on Pulicat was lessening. It was not much. Between Pulicat is just 65 kilometers north of where we are, towards the northern part of Chennai. So after Vijayanagar its focus was decreasing, luckily you find the Portuguese. The Portuguese were, even though they were more into religious activities like building churches, they were not much of administration you expect from Portuguese. So they were there, and you find the Dutch people walking into Pulicat. Now the Dutch influence in Pulicat is extensive, and the Dutch people were excellent navigators, engineers, and they were very good at drawing maps. So the Dutch people were there at the Coromandel source, that is Pulicat, and it was their headquarters from 1613 to 1689. So within this time, Pulicat was transformed with, they had a fort, it was named as Fort Lerdia. That today there's nothing at all. You don't find a reminiscence also of that fort. And then you have a gunpowder factory, and the Dutch people are so much involved into share markets. And once when Dutch were there, they had established so much that you have the Dutch buildings, you have the Dutch houses. Few of the Dutch houses which I visited are right now under the ownership of Muslims, local Muslims who have purchased them, and it's rather some unique art and architecture rather at those houses. And after that you find British for a very short period of time. British were very much into Pulicat just to destroy whatever Dutch had created. So they feared that the Dutch might come back again. So they destroyed whatever, and today it's just a sleepy or a sleepy hamlet or a fishing village or whatever. And you don't find any activity except for some trekking and birding and photography and all those things. But history-wise, it's just zero. Except that's it. And the landmarks in Pulicat, you find the Dutch cemetery. The Dutch cemetery is right now with the ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, and St. Anthony's Church. St. Anthony's Church was built in 1540. It's the Portuguese had built it. Then you have the Dutch building. Dutch building is a toll collection office for the port. So they used to collect the toll. So it was the toll collection office. And Sri Adinarayana Perumal Temple. Sri Adinarayana Perumal Temple was constructed by Vijayanagar Kingdom. And then Sameswarar was constructed by the Cholas. Then you have the Dutch fort. Dutch fort is no more now. Then the Periya Jamia Mosque and small mosque. I want to mention something in this talk about hidden histories, because anytime today there is so much of technological advancement, just at the touch of the screen you get information about anything and everything, and especially places of heritage and historic landmarks. There is abundant information available. So I want to focus, and these become a mandatory part for us to mention. So whenever we go on heritage rides, when we take our cyclist participants for heritage rides, it's mandatory for us to mention about those places, and it's rather fortunate or unfortunate that we have to take it from Google and Wikipedia because it's all standardized. And sometimes I really don't get time to talk about these places because we need to finish our rides fast. We start at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we have to finish by around 7:30 at certain places. For Pulicat it was otherwise. We had till 12 o'clock. So consisting these time constraints. So what we generally do is we give pamphlets which mentions about what is the place we are visiting and the importance of those places. But to talk about any hidden history or something, it's very difficult at the ground level. Okay, so where is Madras? This is a very important question. You can see the Portuguese map of South India in the 15th century. This is a 15th century Portuguese map. you don't find Madras here. You just find Pulicat. So it says Pulicat is so much important and there is no room for any other places. Now here comes the British people. They were so much interested to take this Coromandel. They wanted some sort of identity at the Coromandel coast. And they were so much in affinity to take Pulicat, but the Dutch people were so much in their power that the British could not think of going to Pulicat. So they, just 20 to 30 kilometers away from there, they bought a tiny strip of land in 1639, and that's today Fort St. George, and the city has developed from there. So, and sitting over Fort St. George, Francis Day and his people were always just trying to see when Pulicat is, when we could do something on Pulicat. It's an envy, neighbor's envy, or something like that. And there was something common between Dutch and the British. They were involved so much with textile trade in the Southeast Asian region. So they wanted, so there was a common affinity, and there was competition because of this. So I was telling something about how the English people was wanting to go to Pulicat, and the most important thing is many historians really believe that if there was no Pulicat, then there is no Madras. So that's how it is. And then we'll talk something about hidden history. Probably if you could find now, today or just yesterday, I could see this, that there was some information on this bit of Arabic. Arabic is one language. It's rather, history of Pulicat available with local Muslims is written in Arabic Tamil script. So you find Tamil is being written in Arabic. You find Tamil is being written in Arabic. It's something similar to Manipravaram, where you find the Tamil written in Sanskrit. So the Muslim people had a history of Pulicat available with the local Muslims is written in Arabic Tamil script. Then this is another fascinating thing which I found out was the Madras checks. Madras checks are very popular. It's world renowned, and Madras checks was nothing but a cut copy paste of what was happening in Pulicat. So the Pulicat textile, the merchants or the weavers over there in that region, they had this design. Textiles in Pulicat produced locally with checkered patterns and designs or stripes. Palaya cut lungis. So whatever lungis and kailis or saram or other, in Sri Lankan they call it kailis and saram and all those things. Sri Lankan Tamil rather. So Palaya cut lungis, popular in Eastern Asia and Ceylon, traditional wear in Malayan archipelago. So the lungis, whatever wear we are wearing, is just from Pulicat. And now another fact I got was this Sri Adinarayana Perumal temple built during the Vijayanagara kingdom consists of laterite rocks, which is available those days only in Malabar and Konkan coast. So laterite rocks is not available those days here, and you find this. In this temple is right now very depleted, and the real estate has taken over, and in the name of Kumbhabhishekam and all those things, they have completely redesigned the temple, and it's just a money collection unit or something like that. And we are here at the Periya Jamia Mosque. It was built in 17th century, and there is something uniqueness about this mosque. This was during this is a group picture taken at Pulicat in 2014, and something fascinating about this mosque is it is the only Tamil mosque. You don't find any dome in this mosque. Usually mosques are having domes, but because of Mughal influence. But here, this could be said as the first Tamil mosque, and it's also, some people call it as the Labbai Mosque. And so it's a Periya Jamia Mosque in Pulicat, and with a rich and unique history. Then after Pulicat, the Dutch people were, due to some agreement in Europe between the British and the Dutch, now the Dutch people started losing their focus once again on Pulicat, and they felt that they'll move over to Nagapattinam. and they moved over to Nagapattinam for some time, and they felt that their business relations, whatever in India, was not that conducive, and they focused much on Southeast Asia. So and now the British has got a better time. They come to Pulicat and destroy whatever the Dutch people had, and by 1820s they make it a picnic spot. So the history of Pulicat is now hidden. And now I told that I'll be making a coastal journey. A bit I'm just trying to deviate from this coast. I'm going to Perambur because I want to focus something on North Chennai. North Chennai is just the history of Madras. At Perambur, Perambur is a railway hub of Chennai. Everything and anything in Perambur is always connected some way or the other with railways. So Perambur has the luxury of 3 railway stations bearing the name Perambur. One is the Perambur Loco Works, and Perambur Carriage and Wagon Works. And most fascinating is the Anglo-Indian connection in Perambur. The community has been there for more than 200 years. They were predominantly there to work for the railway work depots, the railway workshops formed by the British, started by the British, and there was another place called the Buckingham and Carnatic Mills. It's just nearby to Perambur. It's also called as Julai. So Buckingham and Carnatic Mills, there are lots of Anglo-Indian people, the Anglo-Indian community people working in this railway depots and the mills. So you find a huge population of Anglo-Indian community in Perambur, but unfortunately I don't think that there are much now because most of them have migrated to Canada, Australia. But whatever it was a paradise for Anglo-Indian community, the Perambur. You find landmarks here, Carriage and Wagon Works. It is the oldest, one of the oldest British set up workshops. The Carriage and Wagon Works, 1856. Then you find Our Lady of Lourdes Church. It was started in 1879. This is another popular church, and it's also at the heart of Perambur. You find this Our Lourdes Church, and then the new hall, which I would be explaining, rather telling you later. The new hall and St. Joseph's Anglo-Indian Church School and the Railway Mixed Higher Secondary School and all those things. So it forms the heart of Perambur. And then you find the Perambur Loco Works. Once there was heavy work at Carriage and Wagon Works in 1856, they could not maintain, so they had to transfer certain response. It was heavy there, so they moved it to Perambur Loco Works in 1932, and then the Railway Hospital. Railway Hospital has got it was started in 1928, and it has got one of the best cardiac units. The earliest cardiac surgeries and all those things were performed at this place, and ICF, which was very much later. It's not got anything to do with heritage. It started in 1953. So, some hidden history available on Perambur. Right now we are during this Madras Week celebrations. We were joined by the school students. We are at Sir Baden Powell Scout Training Center in Perambur. Here was some history created. The Netaji Scout Group. Scouting is very famous. Most of us would have been there in school during the schooling years and probably in NCC during college. So, oldest scout group in India started in 1925 at Perambur. So, yeah. New Hall. It's also called as Marlborough Hall. Not the Marlborough cigarette, it's the Marlborough Hall. This has got something to very much, it is any Anglo-Indian in Perambur who had been in the 60s, 70s, would have had attended a ball, a New Year ball or a Christmas ball, and he would have had, there were many styles, waltz, foxtrot, and so they would have, and the unique thing about this place is the floor is wooden. So for nearly a century, the Southern Railway Institute New Hall with wooden floor throbbed to life during Christmas, New Year and weddings. For nearly a century, it played a vital role to the Anglo-Indian community in Perambur. Emma? Yeah. This is the last of hidden history in Perambur. You find this foundation stone is laid by Mahatma Gandhi on 3rd September 1927. So Mahatma Gandhi and his wife were here for a short time when they were in Chennai. They came and inaugurated the Southern Railway Employees Unity House, and the foundation stone is at the entrance of the premises. Then just awaiting this is a tea shop. And so much we care about our heritage. Next. Here is the Perambur Loco Works, 1932, a group picture with a steam engine. And now I have finished the Perambur part, and I come back again to the coast. And I would like to talk something about Raipuram. Named after Saint Peter, not our Peter. Named after Saint Peter, referred as in Tamil as Rayapar. So Peter is always called as Rayapar in Tamil. And the Christian boat people, there were lots of boat people. Yes? The boat community people, mostly Christians, they were residing in Raipur. They used to venture to the sea, and those ships anchored because there was no port facilities those days. Only after 1870s you find the Madras harbour and all those things developed into a bigger way. So what happens is boat community people, they venture into the sea, and when the ships are anchored, they collect the goods and come back to the shore. So that's how the Christian community had patronized this church, St. Peter's Church in Raipuram, and the name of Raipuram is after St. Peter. And it was also the gateway to Madras. I will mention this in the next slide. Landmarks here included St. Peter's Church, 1829. Even though the work started in the late 1700s, it was consecrated in 1829. Then the Raipuram railway station, 1856. Then Kunaguri Mastan Sahib Dargah is there. It's on the Bichani street. Then Parsi Anjuman Bagh. Parsi, this place has got a heavy Parsi connection. The Parsi people were more into industries. There were some great eminent industrialists, traders, and Parsi. As I remember, Parsi is something they were more into philanthropy. So they used to do a lot of philanthropy. So Parsi connections you find in Raipuram. You find the Parsi Anjuman Bagh. That's the cemetery, and Parsi Fire Temple. Parsi Fire Temple was built in 1910, and you have all the Parsi community people congregating during their New Year. And something fascinating about this place is the fire which they worship is been burning on still from 1910 till this day. Even during the priest of this temple, even during the bombing of Madras, did not run away. They were there at the temple. So much faith they had. They were there, and even during the Emden bombing and during the World War and all those times. And Parsi temple is there, and one among our notable friends, Neville, also is from the Parsi community, and philanthropy is rightly into him. And next, yes, about Raipuram, you have this Kunaguri Mastan Sahib Dargah. Kunaguri Mastan Sahib was, his way of worshipping God was to compose songs, and he felt that God was a feminine form. Just now our earlier speakers, Mr. Sunil said, women is everything. And to this person also, Mr. Kunaguri Mastan Sahib, God was feminine, and he felt it's a Shakti, which was paramount. And he expressed his love for God in form of songs. Tondiyarpet. So I said North Chennai. So you have Washingtonpet, Tondiyarpet, all those places. Tondiyar, since he had come down from Tondi, a place in Ramanathapuram, This place is named after him, Tondiya. They used to call him Tondiya since he came from Tondiya. So his songs such as Manoramani Kanni, Rahman Kanni have been inspiration for Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati, a national poet, in depicting God as his Kannama. So all of Bharatiya's Kannama songs could be an inspiration from Mastan Sahib. Then we are here during the 2013 Madras Week celebration. We are here at the Royapuram railway station. Royapuram railway station is the oldest railway station, operational railway station in the whole Indian subcontinent. Yeah. How many of you know this? Awesome. So we are not foreigners in Chennai.
Before Central.
This Royapuram railway station was it became operational in 1856, and the first train it plied till Tiruvallur, and there were a lot of the British officers and their families. It was a joint trip, so that was the thing. And then some most important thing about Royapuram railway station is in 1875, when Prince of Wales, Edward VII, visited Chennai, he had been given a grand reception, a gala reception at the Royapuram railway station. And if you take the reception, what was their events in the reception, you find amazing. There were more than so many artists performing for the reception. And today, it's not that a lot of political parties are having so grand receptions and all those things. I think Madras had that in 1875 itself. Another aspect about the Royapuram railway station was, now moving on from Royapuram railway station, we started from Pulikat, following the coast. There were certain places to mention. Probably I think Peter would call me next time to talk about. It's about the Georgetown and then and the Fort St. George. These areas require so much, I need another art to present. So I think Trek Polamaa in the future will contain this discussion or something. Then Triplicane. Coming to Triplicane, it's one of the oldest region in Chennai. It was thought as Thiruvallikeni in Tamil. Landmarks here include Sri Parthasarathy Temple, built in 8th century, and Amir Mahal, where Prince of Arcot he resides, Balaja Mosque, and then Vivekananda House. Vivekananda House got its name because Swami Vivekananda was here in this place during his Chennai visit in 1897. Hari's House, it's the old name, the original name. It was built by Frederick Tudor in 1842, and this was used for, they used to bring ice. So it was, this place was used as an ice storage facility. And then Bharatiyar Illam, just nearby to the Parthasarathy temple. Bharatiyar Illam is, Bharatiyar was there during his last years, and there is a mention that he had a close affinity with the temple elephant. So that's about. Then the hidden history in Triplicane. Swami Vivekananda is world renowned and very popular. And Madras was instrumental in getting international fame to Swami Vivekananda by facilitating his travel to the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago, 1893. So it was Alasinga Perumal, resident of Triplicane, who arranged finance to fund his trip to Chicago, USA. So Triplicane was the main financer for Swami Vivekananda to go and talk at Chicago. And those brothers and brothers of America, and the fantastic, he just, over his talk, inspirational talk, the whole world was at his feet in Chicago, and the monk just did wonders. So Madras should take pride in sending Swami Vivekananda to Chicago. Now, after Triplicane, we move to Mylapore. Once again, it's the oldest region in Chennai. You know, Triplicane and Mylapore are somewhere dated somewhere in 8th century. The term, you find one place called Luz in Mylapore. Luz means light in Portuguese. One of its popular area was named after Luz Church. Luz Church is one of the oldest churches in India. It was built in 1516. So it could be perhaps one of the oldest churches in India. And of course, if you take any church, it's going to be a Portuguese who built it. So the Portuguese people are so much with religious activity that the last church you could see it. And it was the birthplace of Saint Thiruvalluvar, the Tamil saint who wrote Thirukural, and the temple was built in their memory. And it's moreover, Thiruvalluvar it's a hometown for him. And Thiruvalluvar, the temple at Thiruvalluvar in Mylapore was somewhere in the 16th century. And then Polamaa, a Vaishnava saint. Then landmarks includes the Kapalishwara temple, Santo Basilica, where Saint Thomas tomb is over there, is there. Then last church, Thiruvalluvar temple. Hidden history. Now the Kapali temple, at the temple tank, Mylapore temple tank. And you know Mylapore temple tank is also there where the Tepam takes place. And Pumpavai talks so much about how the Tepam was during her times. This practice continues till date. So Mylapore tank has Hindu festival and Muslim festival. So we are here during the Mylapore festival at the Thiruvalluvar temple. How many of you have been to Thiruvalluvar temple? Just okay. So I think you need to visit that place. This is Thiruvalluvar temple at Mylapore. Then I now finished the northern part. I'm just riding the bicycle, and I come to Thiruvanmiyur. Now when we cycle, cycling is just not a physical activity. So I think cycling, one can relish the countryside better when you cycle. It's one of the best. It's not just a physical activity. Maybe it's a countryside, a farm or a garden or a temple or anything. So relishing the countryside is best possible only when you cycle. And it's not only a medium for fitness. Of course, you can. It's for commuting and other purpose it can. But to relish, cycling is. You can, when you cycle, you relish. In Thiruvanmiyur, we start with Thiruvanmiyur ECR road, just nearby. It starts probably just 200, 300 meters, rather 500 meters away from this place. Southeast Asia. So Vadakku Peruvali, that's how the Cholas started. And in Thiruvanmiyur, we are of course in Thiruvanmiyur. You have the Valmiki shrine. The epic Ramayana was written by Valmiki, and here is perhaps the only one in the country. The Valmiki shrine is only one in the country, and you find inscriptions here date back to 11th century, during the time of Rajendra Chola. And on a bicycle from Thiruvanmiyur, we just keep riding. Then you come to Neelangarai. Neelangarai also got the name from one of the Chola chieftain. He was called as Neelangarayan. So the place got named from the Chola chieftain. Then you go to Kovalam. Kovalam was again a port for the Nawab of Karnataka or Arcot. Nawab of Arcot. And you find the Kovalam Dargah. He was a Sufi saint, Tamimul Ansari, and he was one of the Sahabas of Prophet Muhammad. And some more fascinating thing was there was a troop movement during when the wars took place between the French and the British, Anglo-French War. There was some troop movements here, and most important thing was the Dutch built a fort, and the remains of the fort is now the Taj Fisherman Cove. So the remains of that fort, whenever you go to Taj Fisherman's Cove, you are onto an heritage site. Next, after Kovalam, and you have in Kovalam you also have the Kairasanatha temple. built in the 13th century. And then moving on to Tiruvadandai. To me, Tiruvadandai is one of the Vaishnava temples, and all I can say is whenever any known person to me, a girl who's yet to be married, I ask her to go there wearing a garland, and so that she can, that's how the things go. No? If you need, this is about Tiruvadandai. 11th century inscriptions are available here. It says something unique is a Kerala merchant donating funds for the upkeep of the Brahmin community in the temple, for the welfare of the Brahmin community. And then, yes, we are coming to Mahabalipuram. Of course, these days, most of us, if we take the cycle on the ECR or OMR, we try to reach Mahabalipuram. And I have seen many of my friends at the Mahabalipuram entrance where the signboard is there. They carry their cycles and they say that they have reached Mahabalipuram. So Mahabalipuram is UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's got so much of history there. It was called as Neelpethurai. It was a trade center for horse imports. Not much is known about how, but you get whatever information is there, it's through Pathupattu. It was a trade center for horse imports, and Pathupattu, Tamil text of 2nd century, mentions this place as an happening town. I really felt that when I used to go with my friends to Mahabalipuram during the younger days, they used to have a lot of beer and have the fish, seafood, and it's more happening there. So it was not only this time, it's present days it's happening. It's been happening since the 2nd century. So Mahabalipuram was a happening place, and this you can get it from the Pathupattu. It says both the lovers are separated, and the pangs of separation says, oh, I went to Mahabalipuram, there was a beautiful place where a restaurant or a pub or something. No, I'm just putting it across so that you understand. So it is the pangs of separation are put as poems where the lover talks to his Mahabalipuram was a very happening place. Then it's also the birthplace of Saint Bhudakarda. And there was lots of religious conflicts between the Saivites and the Vaishnavites during the 10th century at Mahabalipuram. And then we come back to the Europeans now. The early European travelers called this place as land of 7 pagodas. So you have Mahabalipuram, Mamallapuram, Neelpethurai, and then the land of 7 pagodas. William Chambers was the first Westerner. Now when William Chambers came to Mahabalipuram, he felt as if he was somewhere in Egypt, where all these pyramids or something, pharaohs, and so he was just fascinated by the art and architecture of these monuments. So William Chambers was the first to write about this place in his Royal Asiatic Journal, and then we generally conclude among the historians, it's concluded that Narasimhavarma Pallavan constructed most of the monuments between 1630 and 1668. Then about the art and architecture and monuments in Mahabalipuram, you have the Arjuna. Basically in Mahabalipuram there are 4 types of monuments: the rock cut, the monoliths, the bas reliefs, and the structural temples. So I've just chosen one example from each of the varieties. The Arjuna penance, one of the largest bas reliefs, and there are mentions that there are around 140 figures in Arjuna penance bas relief. And then Adivaraha cave temple, which it's very important, I'll be talking about this. Then the Panchapandavaratas, and then the shore temple, and the lighthouse. Lighthouse was commissioned in 1901. Even for we had organized a lighthouse World Heritage Day right to lighthouse last year, and it was flagged off by the Directorate General of Lighthouse from New Delhi. The person, he came down and he flagged off the right from Marina Lighthouse, and we rode till Mahabalipuram Lighthouse. And then, this is the place which I always felt that the whole heritage, the tourist have not, many people who come to Mahabalipuram do not know this place. They are either the tourist guides or whoever it is on the net they see. Most of the people who see on the internet or wherever, they get the information about Mahabalipuram. They go to Arjuna Penance, then the Shore Temple and the Panchapandavaratas. But here is one place, it is just something fascinating. The Hadivaraha Cave Temple, most important and the earliest Polamaa monument still under continuum, both the kings and his family. The images of Pallava kings and their families found here are probably the oldest royal family portraits in whole of India. So we have a pride, and we don't mention it to outsiders. That's what I really feel disgusted sometimes, that this is not happening. Any tourist who goes to Mahabalipuram is going to the Shore Temple or to the Arjuna Penance or to the Panchapandavaratas or the lighthouse. They just skip this place, and it has got so much vital history. And we were fortunate enough that during our heritage ride, we visited all our group. We visited this place and we had some pictures also. Unfortunately, I don't have here, but I can mail it if required. Or probably you should do that, having a picture or a selfie from this monument when you cycle. Next. So here, this was our 2013 ride. This is Arjuna Penance, and luckily that day we had the TI cycle commercial, so they wanted all of us to have there was a shoot, so we were there in the commercial, and it was just some fascinating time we had with the monuments at Mahabalipuram. Next, I was telling you that a water body is following us, the Buckingham Canal. It's been there, starting from Pulikat. It's been following us all through, except for Perambur. It's been following us, and it's all the way onto the ECR road now. And when we are going to travel to Puducherry, it's going to come till Marakkana. Buckingham Canal has got a long history. I always have a fascination. I've developed a fascination for water bodies because they have been getting depleted so much that, in fact, we want to do our future ride is going to be for Kuam. The Kuam River ride, which we plan in the month of August. Kuam River is around 72 kilometers and it's got nearly 1,500 years of history. So I would talk about that if Peter gives me an opportunity next time. Okay, back to Buckingham Canal. It starts from Pettaganjam in Andhra Pradesh and it comes till Central, which is called the North Canal. And from Central to Marakkana is called the South Canal. Officially came into existence in 1837. Even though earlier it started, the canal work was started by around 1809. It started in 1837. In 1875, as we work on this, probably next year, we would focus more on this Kuam and Buckingham Canal. So future trends. The next one, Puducherry. This was during our recent Republic Day heritage ride in the month of January. Chief French colony in India since 1673. For a greater part of time it came under the control of both the French and the British. Later from 1850s onwards, the British permitted the French to retain their settlements in India. So Puducherry is a French colony, and the heritage town in Puducherry is divided into two sections, French quarters and Tamil quarters. After independence, Puducherry was transformed to India and became a union territory in 1963. Much of Puducherry, I think it's more of any person who goes to Puducherry is the landmarks. Once again, Ai Mandapam. Ai Mandapam, it was Ai was a lady courtesan who was honored by Napoleon III, the French ruler, because she had done some activities by providing water facilities to the French army, and she was reprimanded for that. So in memory of Ai, Lady Ai, this was constructed, Ai Mandapam. Then the Raj Nivas, where the Lieutenant Governor resides. Then old lighthouse. an Immaculate Church, Immaculate Cathedral. Immaculate Cathedral is called Samba Koil in local. It's a very popular Samba Koil. And then Sacred Art Church, Duke Statue, Bharatiya Museum, and Anandaranga Pillai Mansion. So here is another great person from Puducherry. Perhaps he is one of the earliest historians after Polamaa of Kashmir to trace the history of their times. He was a Dubashi during the French Doomsday period, and he was known as Anandaranga Pillai. So if you look into the history of India, there were two people who wrote the history meticulously, and it was Polamaa of Kashmir and then Anandaranga Pillai, who wrote the private diaries in Puducherry. And this is our group picture at the Ai Mandapam. This Mandapam was in memory of Ai, constructed by Napoleon III. And I have the bicycle history, and I think I have no time. I just want to, there is a video of 2-3 minute video, and we'll wind up with that. Thank you for providing me an opportunity. I thank Peter and and our upcoming ride is for the World Heritage Day in the month of August 19th. And for the first time in the history of Dakshin Chitra, it usually opens at 10 o'clock in the morning. The Dakshin Chitra people have asked us, okay, you can come at 8 o'clock. We'll open it up for you. And so we'll be riding to Dakshin Chitra. And I request all CEC friends, whoever is available on that day, to come and relish Dakshin Chitra, because there are around 18 houses where recently they have the Chikmangalur house, and then apart from that the Kanjipuram house, Chettinad house, and all those things. You can relish, and many of people in our group also saying that you are just visiting heritage monuments. So for a change, we wanted something with folk art, folklore. So we have added this in the Dakshin Chitra itinerary during the World Heritage Day. Right? And I'll finish up with a video. You took it out, no? This is here. This was for the World Heritage Day, right? It's just a 2-3 minute video. Yes, boss. Yeah. When you talk about cycling.
Ramanujar sir, there are a few backbenchers with questions.
So, how many people do you take on a ride? Is there any criteria to test?
At the present, we can handle around 50 to 60 people, but for the Puducherry ride, we had around 75 people participating. So we had ordered for 100 lunch plates, and 86 was over, including
Then you'll ask for the menu, you'll ask to.
You can read the blog.
Sure. It's a pleasure. No selection criteria. Anybody who registers and for Puducherry, we have selection criteria that they should have done at least 100 kilometers. You cannot come and
Yes.
Safety is sacrosanct. So all our rides are we give priority, no helmets, no ride. And apart from that, we have backup vehicles. And few of the backup vehicles, we see to it that one of our friends, Ravi Shekhar, is come down. So there are, we have safety kits, first aid, and all those things. And of course, it's
Backup is a 4-wheeler.
and at the end of the day, it's all Almighty God who has to take care of everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Ramanujar. That's our last speaker. We had video sessions for the last 2 days. Now
Chandan, when you talk about cycling,
thank you, Ramanujar. That you have.
How many people are taking your ride? Question.
Ramanujar sir, there are a few backbenchers with questions.
So how many people do you take on a ride? Is there any criteria to
At the present, we can handle around 50 to 60 people, but for the Puducherry ride, we had around 75 people participating. So we had ordered for 100 lunch plates, and 86 was over, including the.
Then you'll ask for the menu, you'll ask to.
Exclusively for CTC.
Sure.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
selection criteria?
No selection criteria. Anybody who registers and for Puducherry, we have selection criteria like they should have done at least 100 kilometers.
cannot come and
Because- Safety is sacrosanct. So all our rides are we give priority, no helmets, no ride. And apart from that, we have backup vehicles. And few of the backup vehicles, we see to it that one of our friends, Ravi Shekhar, is come down. So there are, we have safety kits, first aid, and all those things. And of course, it's
backup is a 4-wheeler.
and at the end of the day, it's all Almighty God who has to take care of everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Ramanujar.